Hello and welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I am seated next to my husband, Matt, in a squeaky chair.
Good morning, everyone.
He's like, what's that noise? I'm like, I think it's your chair.
I kept thinking it was my phone going off, and I was getting emails, and I'm like, she's like, it's your chair. It's like, oh
No.
it's not my chair. That's my phone.
You were having a physiological response too, weren't you?
You were right. It is my chair.
It's the chair.
Yeah.
It's squeaky chair.
Yeah. So now that we got that down.
There's no way to segue into today's topic, so
Well,
let's jump in.
Today's concept is something we've seen over and over. Personally, we've seen it in other people as well, and we've understood it. We've understood it. We've lived it. We've used it to our advantage, but it wasn't until we heard something the other day that the actual the concept came into place, I guess.
Yes, and that's why we needed to speak to it today in the podcast.
Yeah, and I know every time I've set a goal, at least for like the last 2 or 3 years, it really has only been the last 2 or 3 years that I've noticed that this helps drive me.
Ooh.
And it's really, are you comparing yourself to a version of excellence that is actually average? And what if you could go 10x that further? But you don't even know that's possible to do because of the environment you're in, or your upbringing, or your influences have capped that vision that you have for yourself, for your relationships, for your finances, for your body. And today we're going to kind of try it. We're not going to try. We are going to crack that mental ceiling wide open.
Yeah. I want to jump in.
Let's go.
And there's going to be, obviously, we speak from experience. We are not up here on our pedestal pointing fingers. This is autobiographical, friends. But I want to start with an example. I have a client, mom of 3. She and her husband work full time. You can all imagine her, I'm sure, busy running kids to practice, and there's another practice, and then there's a party, games, finishing up homework, like all the things, keeping the house running, meal prep on Sundays, like just listening to her day fucking exhausts me. I'm like,
we only had 2 kids, thank God.
I think I need a drink. But she felt like things were normal. Chaotic, but normal. Like this is just what we do. And one day she saw my VSL, my video sales letter. It's an ad. It's an ad video. And it's a short video that talked about that she could have it all. The family, the energy, and the body she always wanted.
Yeah, that video changed her perspective. It was, she hadn't heard it that way, the way you'd said it, and she didn't realize it was even possible at her age, and with a lot of the constraints that she had around that you just described.
100%, because most people and their vision are capped at the tasks at hand and not how to make it easier.
Yep.
And still get to the target. So we did a call. She questioned it. That's fine. I questioned it, right? When I was in the beginning. So I showed her other clients that were in the same boat. And she realized that what she thought was good, pretty good, was average. And she realized that there was so much more out there. And just the other day, we got her to their goal sooner than expected. And she's on social media showing off her abs in a cute little crop top, right? I was like, fuck yeah, lady, get that. All because she had a glass ceiling she could not see through.
That's what we're going to name the podcast, Breaking the Glass Ceiling.
Yes.
I love that. So I want to talk about a couple examples to show you how I said we've used this over the last 2 or 3 years, but because it comes in levels. And this is a perfect example of how you start leveling up and there's never a excellence. It's not the finish line. So Jen and I, this is a personal example. We've been in the fitness business for 18 plus years, and we've owned gyms for 18 years. And we've always been pretty high achievers within our network. We've won multiple awards, from Franchisee of the Year a few times, Founders Award. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And to do that, I mean, you got to be doing some shit right. You got to be doing a lot of good things for members. You got to be doing a lot of things. But also on the other side, when you do all those right things, that column, that revenue column is usually pretty damn good. And it was for us. And a handful of years ago, I met I didn't meet. I saw another franchisee at our convention, and he had won one of the big awards that year. And so I went up and was talking to him. And he's all excited, which he should be. This is a big deal. He should be all excited. He says, "Matt, man, if my gym hits $1 million this year in revenue, I'm taking the whole team on a trip." I'm like, "What? Dude, what are you doing to do $1 million? I mean, we're high achievers, but holy cow." And I started to realize we weren't thinking big. We had that glass ceiling, as Jen said, and didn't realize we could be doing more. We didn't realize we could pump out $1 million in revenue. Had no idea. We had that glass ceiling, and he broke that ceiling for us. And that was the first level. We saw this guy doing more than we were doing.
I remember that. Yeah. And I remember, to tie back to my fitness story, I remember thinking all the shit I would have to do to get to that.
Yeah.
Right? But he showed us that new mountain.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? This guy's a great guy. He's a high achiever. He works hard. But he's not any better than us. He's not any worse than us. And it was just like, oh shit, we can do this. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
It wasn't in our brain. So then here's where the next level goes up. So we are sitting at a mastermind, and it is a bunch of business owners in this mastermind, and they bring in, and they're all from different industries, and they bring in, different people to facilitate it. And one of the facilitators, they brought in a financial advisor. They brought in all these guys. One of these guys was he was an ex-Louis Vuitton executive that helped them
build their brand.
Build their brand. So he basically says, I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to help each and every one of you. And there wasn't a bunch of us. There's 10, 15 of us maybe.
If that.
Yeah. And I'm going to help each one of you solve a small problem in your business that's going to help you move the income up. So he starts...
he starts with me.
Yeah,
he looks me dead in the eye.
He looks at us and he's
one of the only females
yeah.
in the room.
And his first question is because this is a business meeting. His first question is, what was your revenue last year? And we proudly say just over $1 million. Because remember, just a few years ago, we didn't think that was possible. So we're proud, like just over $1 million. And then he asks us some more questions and things like that. And then he helps us solve some problems. It's really good. And he goes to the next guy and he asks the next guy the same question. The guy goes, $100 million. I'm like, what? 100 million. I was all proud at this, a little over $1 million. And he does it. He goes around the room and everyone's in those big numbers, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. And I'm like, oh my God, it's that exact moment that I realized it was another ceiling that I needed to, and Jen needed to, we needed to raise our standards because we'd set it low due to a perspective of $1 million was the ceiling. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, $100 million is out of reach, then this is the exact podcast you need to be listening to.
Yes.
Because it has nothing to do with the 100 million. Nothing. The point is whatever your goal is, you could be accomplishing it and probably a lot more when you break that glass ceiling that is holding you back and you realize there is another level. See, when I looked at within my industry, I thought we were doing pretty damn good. But then I hear of someone in other industries and I realize we can do more. When you look outside of what's right in your environment, your industry, your house, your community, you'll realize that you're capable of so much more. And what most people call excellence is just the best they've ever seen, not the best that's possible.
I love that. And you need to reframe excellence as a moving target, not the finish line.
Yes.
See, what happened was when we reached the top of our first mountain, there was somebody else there with us and said, but wait, look at that mountain. Fuck, well, I want to climb that one now. Like, it's not a move. It's not the finish line. It's a moving target. You never reach the summit, which is great because we're always evolving. This is going to help you elevate through different levels quickly. That's the key. I want you to take a look around the gym. If you're in the gym, take a look around. The guy that's benching 225 may be the strongest guy in your gym, right? But that doesn't mean he's world class. That doesn't mean he's at the summit. It just means that's your current ceiling.
Yeah, and I think there's so many examples we could throw out and keep going on this, but let's keep moving let's go to the next topic. And it's time for an environment check for all of us. If you're the most driven person in the room, you're at a growth plateau, or you will be at a growth plateau.
Yes. Yes, this is something we felt personally. Proximity to high achievers raises your own standards. Just like in the mastermind example. Like we thought, in our industry, we're doing pretty damn good, but we could be great. I want to use another example in the fitness world because I feel like it's a little bit more identifiable. Mm-hmm. If you're around in shape people, you start to raise your standards. If you're one of my clients listening in, there is a reason I throw another plate on the bar. I want you to raise your standards. I want you to progress. If you're not, then you're already at the standard. Your standard looks good until you go to the pool and there are even more fit people there.
Yeah, that's a great example. We're talking about environment, the things you surround yourself with. And I remember my first real estate investor that I'd met that I started asking questions about real estate. And I think it was like 20 single family homes, and he'd been doing this for 10 to 15 years. And again, I'm at 0 when I meet him. So this is a pretty big deal. He's been doing it, a long time. Like, holy crap. I do the math on that. On the average house, that's like $6 million in assets in 10 to 15 years. Man, this guy's doing good. And I know if I push hard, maybe I can do this in 8 to 12 years. But then this is where the environment comes in. I met a group of people that I'm working with right now. They've been doing this for 2 years and they've got $150 million under assets. It's who you surround yourself with. See, my perspective changed on what is possible. There's nothing wrong with the guy who has 20 homes. That's unbelievable. That's great.
That's awesome.
But you change your perspective on what's possible when you start to meet other people. And whatever seems normal, this is key. So listen, whatever seems normal, run away from it. Whatever seems to challenge your sense of normal, run to it. Many people weren't raised around success. That's another thing. They didn't have competition or maybe even high standards. And so they run to what is normal that they grew up on, and that's okay. But if that's you and you're now wondering, how do I get that body that I've dreamed about, or that business or that relationship, that's where you have to use this concept of breaking that glass ceiling, because you will never get out of it if you run to what's normal. You got to run away from that. We both had to unlearn patterns that we were taught growing up. We've said before, we had great childhoods. Wouldn't change anything
100%.
from parents and siblings and coaches and things like that. But I was born into an entrepreneurial family, and I still had to do that. I just gave examples. I still have to do that because the opportunity is so much greater today than it was when my family started their business. They couldn't see all those levels because things have changed with technology and the way the world is. There's just so much more people can do to expose themselves to the challenges of those old beliefs.
Yeah, even being in the fitness industry for decades, right? I felt like I had a pretty gosh darn good grasp on how to do this thing, right? I had to unlearn patterns that I was handed, that I was taught. Because guess what? The level of opportunity available to us now, physically, emotionally, financially, is so massive. Even the people that we looked up to, even my mentors in the industry that taught me everything I know about the industry, may not have been able to see it. If you're one of those mentors listening, I love you. Thank you for all the lessons, but you were fucking wrong. Because I'm on the other side. This includes your fitness. So many women come to me and say, I never believed this result was possible. Because they never learned what feeling amazing feels like. They were taught exercise is punishment. Hunger is willpower. Cardio equals discipline. And exhaustion is your price for being fit. God, does that sound like the old me?
Yep.
Holy hell. None of it is true. None of it. It took one conversation with a mentor who was also on the other side, someone that I was chasing, who looked me dead in the eye and asked, do you want to look fit or do you want to feel fit? Because right now you're doing neither. And it woke me up. It woke me up. I started strength training intentionally. I stopped chasing calories burned and started chasing energy gained. I nourished my body instead of depriving it. I slept. For the first time in 15 years, I fucking slept. And little by little, I started to feel like a version of myself I'd only ever imagined. See, when I was exhausted, that's just what I thought I had to do to maintain my body. Now, the coolest part, I get to help other women do the same. I get to help them rewrite their story, to unlearn the noise, to realize they were never broken, to put down the fucking rucksack. You're misinformed. Here's what I want you to hear today. You may not have been raised with the tools for greatness. You may not have been shown how to take care of your body with love instead of shame or fear. You may not have seen anyone in your life model what vitality looks like. It's okay. It's not your fault. But it is your responsibility now because you know better. And when you know better, you can do better. I want you to start by challenging the beliefs that tell you you're not capable of more or that this is good enough. This is great. Why don't you rest? This is great. You did it. I want you to start by showing up for yourself in a new way. Start by giving yourself compassion and raising your standards.
I love that. I think now is an important thing I want to throw in this little part that we talked about right now. I think it's important. There's a massive, massive, massive issue if you're listening to our message and you take it a different way. What I mean by that is you need to understand there is a big difference, I said massive 3 times, between comparison and expansion. You cannot compare yourself on day 1 to where someone is at day 301. You have to replace comparison with expansion. Otherwise, you fall into that trap of seeing that person on social media who looks awesome or has an unbelievable relationship or is driving a nice car, and you start comparing yourself to them. You can't do that. This whole podcast is about expansion and not comparison.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we put that in there right now so you don't fall into that trap, because too many people do, and then you give up because you see someone who's 300 days ahead of you, and that's not what it is. What could be possible is what you need to be doing is what could be possible. If you get into better rooms, better routines, and a better mindset.
Yeah. So again, you know how we like tactics, right? The tactics behind this are easy. Unfortunately, 90% of people don't do them, which is why they're stuck. That's fine. You're different. Be in the 10%. Number 1, audit your circle. I didn't say set your circle on fire. Audit. Who challenges your thinking? I'm going to leave it right there. Who challenges your thinking? Audit. Tactic number 2, consume better input. Guys, if you're listening to Tupac, you might not be elevating your standards. Some of it's very poetic. Yeah. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you reading? Books, podcasts, mentors who challenge your thinking, who are on the next level. Number 3, set irrational goals. If I hear one more, I want to feel healthy, I swear to God, my head's going to explode. If your goals don't scare you, they're based on your ceiling. You're playing small. And number 4, stay curious. Ask, what's actually possible for me?
I didn't want to interrupt. I wanted to get your 4 out, but I want to go back to that number 3 tactic because I'm not sure if people fully understand how the importance of that one. Set irrational goals. If your goals are attainable, your mind, your unconscious mind, is going to take the path of least resistance, and it's going to get to do just enough to maybe get to that obtainable goal. If your goals are totally irrational, you're telling your body, you're telling your mind, you're telling every part of your soul that needs to work a lot harder. And you're going to go hard. You're going to go much higher because of that. That's why we have the 100-year and 1,000-year plans, our goals that we have. We've talked about those before. We do those with clients. It's to get our unconscious mind accelerating to achieve more in a smaller amount of time than our conscious mind thinks we can.
Yeah.
So that number 3 is so important. Set irrational goals.
Yeah. I want to talk about this. Your ceiling is usually invisible until someone points it out.
Yep.
Right? And I want to get into the relationships piece on a couple of different areas, right? As far as your partner goes, a truly supportive partner does not just rub your back and say, you've got this, right? Speaking of, will you rub my back and say, I've got this? If you're in your comfort zone and they're like, yeah, you're doing great, this may not be someone that's supporting you. A truly supportive partner is the one that looks you in the eye and says, you are capable of so much more than this. Why are you hiding? Man, that sounds familiar. That's like straight out of the words of out of the mouth of Matt Rhodes. And yes, this goes both ways. The partnership.
Yeah, in a growth-minded relationship, we have to challenge each other all the time. You do it the right time, the right way.
With love and respect.
Yeah, but when one of us just starts playing it safe, it's the other one has to call it out. When one of us starts dreaming too small, the other has to say, hey, is that really all you want? Or do you want more? When one of us says, is that good enough? Or this is good enough, the other one we have to challenge and say, well, but what's great? What would great feel like?
Yeah.
And it's not criticism, it's commitment.
Yes.
It's we're here to help fix or / repair each other. And that's what relationships are about. And to pull each other into their full potential. And it's, we're talking about spouse, but it could be a business partner or a friend as well. It's a powerful partner reminds you of who you really are. That's what it is. Especially in the moments when you forget who you are.
And it was an agreement that we both came to equally. Like, I got your back, you got mine. Right?
Yep.
So I want to move on from relationships because we could do a whole other podcast on that. I want to talk about your community, right? Your outer circle. Here is another hard truth. Most people's normal is nowhere near their actual capacity. And the fastest way to normalize greatness, put yourself in a room where excellence is the baseline. Like, that's our warm-up. Community rewires your standards in real time. And when you are around high-level humans, you start to question all your limitations. This was what was key for me, was the community.
Yep.
Wait, what if that's actually possible for me too? I see dozens of other women with no other qualifications than mine. That's the beauty of community. They don't just support you, they demand more from you.
Yeah, and in that community, you got to find someone who will tell you that you're playing small.
Ooh, that was John for us.
Yep.
That was John for us.
Listen to that again and again. You got to find someone who's not afraid to tell that you're playing small. If everyone in your life is validating your excuses or telling you you're doing enough, go back to Jen's example of the mom of 3 kids. Everyone in her world was validating her excuses, and they were excuses, but they were good excuses, kids, things like that.
Valid.
And they're telling you you're doing
Doesn't
enough.
mean you're right.
Yeah. If everyone in your life is validating your excuses, telling you you're doing enough, it's time to expand your circle. Whether that be your environment, your community, all those things that we've talked about today. You need people, especially a partner, who's not afraid to disrupt some comfort. That's love. It's leadership. It's what growth feels like. And sometimes it sounds like you made progress, yes. But don't confuse progress with arrival. That might sting a little bit to hear that, but that sting, that's the edge. That's the elite edge. That's getting to the edge and going. And that edge is where all that potential lives.
Yeah. So I want to wrap this up. Because this has been a little bit of a long one today. Your ceiling is not real. Jen, your ceiling isn't real. And I have to remind myself sometimes, right? It's just the limit of what you've been exposing yourself to. Get around people who shatter what you thought was possible. Stop comparing. Start expanding. And don't forget, please don't forget, you are way closer to this next level than you think.
I love that. Let's wrap there.
Let's wrap. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you found value. If you did, please share it. It's the only way we can keep growing. And for everyone that's been reaching out via DM, keep it coming. We like it. We like talking to you. So with that, friends, we'll talk next time.